What's up, y'all? Today I'm talking about marriage and how does marriage look when the chips are down? How does marriage look when the man financially is struggling? How does the marriage look when the wife is just not finding you attractive and intimacy is low? How does the marriage look? You know, do you really prepare yourself for the ups and downs of marriage before you propose and before she says, I do? Are we really thinking about worst case scenarios? I gotta say, I don't think we prepare for worst case scenarios. You know, when you get married and the vows, it says for better, for worse. I don't think people really think about worse. You know what I mean? And I think that's tough. I think thinking about worst case scenario has to come up in premarital meetings, discussions. We gotta talk about what happens if he gets laid off. What if it's cutbacks? You could be an executive at a Fortune 500 company. Those people get laid off too. Right? What are you gonna do if he gets laid off? Is he no longer your king? Do you feel like submitting to someone that's looking for work now is beneath you? Or are you there for the long term? And likewise, you meet this beautiful lady. Maybe she stops taking care of herself because she has 1, 2, 3, 4 children. And the gym is no longer a possibility. Are you still there for her? Are you still gonna love her the same? The vows in marriage say for better or for worse. Are we really prepared for the worst part of our spouse? Are we prepared for that? Are we talking about that enough? I don't know. I've been through some things with my wife before we got married that I think we could tell we was there for hard times for each other. You can't always experience hard times to be able to get that test out the way. But man, when the chips are down, is your wife gonna still make you feel like a king? When you get laid off and you come home and you've been to 5, 10 interviews, is she gonna make you still feel like a king? Or is she gonna be like a disgruntled person and nagging? Now, it's not her job to soften every blow, right? Sometimes the hard truth is the hard truth. But is she still gonna respect you? Woman, are you still gonna respect your king when he's on his 15th, 20th interview after getting laid off? And now you carrying the financial burden. You gotta ask yourself that. Why are you getting married? Is this someone that when the chips are down is still gonna be your number one? Ask yourself, what's most attractive to this person? Is it your ability to provide? Is she attracted to that? Which is fine, that's attractive. Women are designed and wired to seek provision, safety. That's a good thing. That's a female quality. That's their DNA. So there's nothing wrong with being attracted to someone that could be a good provider. But you gotta ask yourself, if that's the main thing, what happens if that main thing is gone? And likewise, you know, men, we're very visual creatures. When that woman stops going to the gym or something changes with their body after a certain amount of years, are you still gonna be there to love and honor her? Why are you marrying her? Is it just looks? Is it because y'all had sex before y'all got married? Is it access to sex? Or are you really trying to build with this person? Marriage is a roller coaster. And when the chips are down, that's when you're in the trenches, that's really what makes the next 10 years go. How you respond. How you respond when the chips are down really impacts a marriage. When me and my wife been through things, loss of job. I lost my job while we were engaged planning a wedding. My wife didn't flinch. She didn't flinch, man. 10 toes down, we gonna figure it out. She didn't make me feel like less of a man. Nothing. She didn't flinch. When she decided that going to New York, when her company, when her department had some transitions, that going to New York full time wasn't going to be the best interest of the family, and we had to have her not work while she looked for something different, nobody flinched, bro. We just talked, worked it out. But when the chips are down, which is going to happen in your marriage, for some reason, I can't predict, and you can't predict why the chips will be down, why you're going to be in a valley in your marriage. You can't predict what it's going to be, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Some unmet expectations, some tragedy, maybe a family member needs to stay with you, what to do with an in-law, should the money go here, should the money go there. It's gonna happen, man. It's not if, it's when. Marriages have ups and downs. And I pray for more ups. And I'm sure you pray for more ups. But how do you behave when the chips are down, when you're in a valley? This is super important, man. Sex cannot be tied to finances. Sex can't be tied to anything else, man. Your body's not your own. His body's not his own. You can't be like, you're not making money, I don't feel like being romantic. You can't be like, you're not going to the gym, I don't feel like being romantic to your lady. You can't stop loving, caring for her, providing, doing what you can do, what is in your ability to do. Sometimes, man, when expectations are not met, somebody in the marriage draws a direct correlation to their behavior and how they should respond to you. I saw this pastor. He had a difficult time when the media, when he was getting canceled. And I forget his name, but he's a pastor that I respect and I see online. He was like, when he came home, his wife pulled out all the stops and celebrated him for his efforts and showing how he's appreciated at home. When the chips are down, are you making your husband feel like a king still? When the chips are down, are you treating your wife like a queen still? It's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna be a time of marital discord. How are you gonna respond? Are you gonna seek those wise, long-standing marriages that have seen what you're going through and come out on the other side? Are you gonna seek wisdom from them? Or are you gonna be in your feelings on TikTok and social media trying to get your answers? Are you gonna give him the cold shoulder, no longer rubbing his back? Or are you gonna give her the cold shoulder, no longer rubbing her feet? Marriage has challenges, and how you respond when those challenges come is a big deal, man. Are you gonna be able to talk it out? Are you gonna be able to communicate? This is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing. What do you think we could do to overcome this? You know, this dilemma, if we ignore it, is gonna keep creating a wedge in our marriage that turns wider and wider until next thing you know, it's an ocean between us. Everyone goes through difficult times in every relationship, bro. Are you picking a girl that wants to marry you for the right reasons? Are you picking a man that you're going to accept his proposal for the right reasons? That on his worst day, he's my guy. On her worst day, she's my girl. I'm going to bed, sleeping next to her, spooning on her worst day, right? And granted, I'm not talking about infidelity, and I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about when the job is beating him up and he just can't get it right now at home because of the stress. Or when the kids are overwhelming, or the job is getting the best of her, or in-laws are getting the best of her and she's just not herself. I'm talking about those times when external factors are affecting your marriage. External factors, money, family, you're just under attack. Maybe one of you are under attack, maybe both of you are under attack. Are you going to be able to see through and be like, we got this. Let's pull together. Let's still have date night. And if money is tight, date night doesn't have to be spending money. It could be just quality time. Like, let's just go to the park and chill. Let's get a cup of coffee and chill. We got to maintain and protect this covenant called marriage. You got to protect it. When the enemy is trying to get in between y'all because of finances or a family matter or a child that's trying to sap all your energy. All you guys dating and thinking about, is this him? Is this her? Should I propose? Think, on her worst day, and the worst day that I've experienced a relationship with her, I can handle her worst day. I think I can stick that out because it's not going to always be just fun times. Females, women, you got to ask yourself, on his worst day, have I seen a difficult day from him? Have I seen him at a low yet? But on his worst day, do I think I can still support him? Because it's not all fun and games. After that party called the wedding ceremony, and the reception and the party and the drinking, the dancing, the vows that were shared, the gifts that were exchanged, and y'all is just y'all two, are you there for the right reasons? Are you there for the right reasons? Some of these reasons you're not going to be able to predict, but I guarantee it's going to be ups and downs, because it's ups and downs in anything in life. Just having a best friend is ups and downs. Having a job is ups and downs. Relationship with your parents is ups and downs. And I'm talking in general terms. Always talking in general terms, right? I'm not talking about infidelity. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about, can you stay? Can you stick around and still honor each other through the ups and downs? And if you marry right now and you're thinking about, am I honoring my spouse during this downtime? Course correct. Come to them and say, do you feel like I'm supporting you as best that I could? Am I coming across as encouraging? Maybe you're not. Maybe you need to apologize to each other and be like, you know what? It wasn't fair for me to respond, talk to you like that, treat you like that, just because something's going on at work. Or you know what? I've been a little cold because the financial burden has been dictating my responses more than my love for you. Course correct, man. Humility is the key. Humility and communication, man. Two major keys in marriage. Humility, to be able to say, I was wrong, I could do better, is key. Communication, saying it out loud, not just to your girlfriend or your homeboy, saying that to your spouse is key. Talking about something that's extremely difficult is key. So Obviously, this conversation was sparked by a conversation that I had. You know, I have a heart for marriage and difficult marriages. And difficulties will come, but you don't want to sit there. You don't want to soak there. You don't want to be there long. You need to fight yourself out of that. Both man and woman need to fight themselves out of, you know, cruise control in marriage. You got to fight out of cruise control. You got to fight out of the doldrums, the winter season of marriage. You got to fight out of that. You got to be aware of it and fight out of it and be like, yo, this is not us. This is not our best version of ourselves. What can we do to get out of this rut? You know what I mean? Is it me? Is it you? Is it both of us? What can we do to get out of this rut? And have humility. Apologize. Course correct. You know, I've been doing this, but I should be doing this. Humility, man. Humility on both parts. No one is always right. So, I just had a serious conversation with a good brother, and it just made me think, like, people not really thinking about how hard it is when you marry and things are not going as per your expectations. Once things are not going as you expect, it's difficult, man. If you meet someone and they just make a lot of money and then the well runs dry, how you gonna look at him? If you pick this girl because she's beautiful and then the looks start to fade, or if you meet her and the standard has been sex anytime you want, and then for whatever reason when you get married, that's not the case. Or if you meet this guy and spending money however you want was a freedom as girlfriend and boyfriend, but it's not the case anymore because something changed, how you gonna look at them? That's why how you meet someone is a big deal. If you cheated on someone and they cheated on someone and y'all met and then now y'all married, and then now there's some creeping suspicion about them doing it again outside of your marriage, why wouldn't that be the case? How did y'all meet? What was the foundation for getting together? If that's difficult and murky, when things come up, your mind is going to revert back to those times. So I say all that to say marriage is difficult, and you need humility, and you need to exercise communication. And you really got to ask yourself, at their worst, can you love this person? At their worst, can you stay loyal and love them? Can you love them and respect them at their worst? And of course, again, I'm not talking about infidelity. I'm not talking about abuse, all right? But at their worst, can you love this person? And that's not a sexy question to ask yourself. That's not fun. There's no fun times in asking yourself, right? While y'all were dating, when y'all had arguments, and he was at his worst and she was at her worst, if we were married, would I be able to work through that? You gotta ask yourself that. And everything is honeymoon phase, and then when y'all got married, things got tough. It will get tough. There will be times where you be like, I don't know. There will be times. And of course I'm talking generally, because even in my tough times with my wife, as great as she is, and knowing how the foxes try to come and mess with the vine, which is our marriage covenant, we don't be talking about divorce. We just be disappointing each other, like, oh, you made me feel this, you made me feel that. So I'm not saying everybody's gonna talk about divorce or separation. I'm just saying, generally speaking, when it gets tough, will you be able to stick it out? And also, what is really drawing you to that person? For a man, he wants loyalty, right? He wants someone that's going to be supportive. that's going to champion him, that wants to see him win, knowing that when he wins, the family wins. He wants to be seen as someone she's attracted to. And women, y'all want to be protected mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Y'all want to be the apple of his eye, obviously. You want him to find you beautiful, you know? And you want the provision, the protection in every area. And y'all got to ask yourself, if I propose to her, do I think she's going to do that? If he proposes to me, do I think he's going to be that man that can lead my family? And when the chips are down, am I going to have the wherewithal, the desire to do my best to make him still feel like a king? And when the chips are down, am I still going to behave in a way that she knows she's my queen? So it's a lot to think about, man. It's a lot to think about. When you dating and everything is honeymoon phase, people don't think about when it's not honeymoon phase. People want that job. People don't think about all that comes with that job when things get tough. You know, when you want something, no matter how good it is, there's maintenance to it. Oh, I want that house. I want that house. That's my dream house. You have to take care of the house once you get the house. You know? I think about it this way. Say you're a superstar athlete. You buy your mom a house. Y'all got out the hood. You buy mom a house. It's taxes to the house. There's a lawn someone has to take care of. There's maintenance in the house. So when you gift somebody a house, yeah, it's a blessing, but they have to take care of it. Your spouse is a gift, but you have to take care of them. You have to take care of each other. And it's real work to be considerate. Now, when you make putting someone before yourself a habit, is not as hard work, right? A habit doesn't make things feel like work. I'm in the habit of going to the gym, so it's not a heavy ask for me to go work out. I make it a habit to exercise non-sexual touch to my wife. So rubbing her feet, rubbing her neck, rubbing her back. I had to learn this, but it's not a heavy ask. Being considerate. She's swamped. I make dinner. You know, I was a bachelor. I knew how to cook, so that's not a heavy ask. But some things, man, is going to feel like a heavy ask when people are emotionally spent. And while you guys are dating, it all looks perfect. It all looks like whipped cream and cherries. It's going to come a time when something is going to change that you didn't expect, or something's going to happen because life be lifing. And you got to say, when the chips are down, am I going to be here for this guy? When the chips are down, can I stick it out with this girl? I don't think it's enough premarital discussions, man. I don't think it's enough. And if it is, I don't think it's enough on the difficult parts. The difficult parts. Money, sex, communication, the big pillars, right? Things that really put a wedge in between marriages. Sex, money, unmet expectations, family. Big pillars, man. Big pillars. You know, they say money is first. How to imagine sex and change. How do you handle change? Because change is the one constant. So that was just on my heart, man. I hope this helps somebody. I hope single people could think, what are qualities I have to look for? What questions I have to ask before I get serious with this person? Am I really peeping their behavior? And I'm going to tell you this is facts on facts. If you have sex before you get married, it's always going to skew what you're looking for. It's always going to give you a false positive on those test results. Because once you connect with someone sexually, people tend to overlook the flags. People tend to overlook the flags. Men and women tend to overlook some negative behavior after they have sex. It distorts their opinion on the other person because of that bond. Now y'all have that bond. So if you could wait on the sex, it is going to benefit you. It is going to give you the clearest mind on seeing if this is someone I could follow as a wife. Is this someone I could follow? And is this someone that I want to lead and protect and provide for as a husband? Keeping sex out of it is going to give you the clearest vision. It's like fasting. Things clear up when you fast. You can just see with your spiritual mind clearer when you fasting. If you could prevent yourself from connecting sexually, you're going to see super clear. Like, that's the type of behavior I don't think I'm going to be into. That's sarcasm. Yeah, they could work on it, but it's not a good look right now. Or I don't think she really respects me the way she dresses. Or he's always spending money, but what happens if he doesn't keep that job? Am I going to be all right with a different lifestyle? Just stuff, man. Just stuff. If you could avoid sex, you're going to have the clearest mind. And so I'll leave you with that. I hope this helps somebody. Love y'all.